Barkolum, Rahubat, Hupanetiru Meninu Chayu Kawun Lalul Bihu. He the deities who nothing exists except by way of him. Pa Isaf Bat, Anuki Fi Pa Ashuk Shil Kulum, Wakul Ashuk Kalun Fi Anuki Faragun Shil Kulum, Wakul Kalun Faragun Shil Ni. Anuki Wahed Ka Kulum, Wakul Kalun Wahed Ka Ni. Nuk Aikilu Anjihu Kama Farugun Shil Kulum, Wakub Kama Faryudun. Nuk Aikilu Akwenu Kuldek Nuk Akfuzi Fi Kulum, Kama Tawul Kama Kafuzi Kanundia Amidu Fi Kulum. Anuki Kabahawa Hud, Kulum Kalun Anuki. Kulum Yakul Nuk Aikilu. Kulum Dora Nuk Abmilu. Yes, guys, Rahubat. We back here again for Tears of the Sun Revisited. You know what? YouTube keep giving me problems and keep removing my videos. So I know I keep going back on my words and that, but I don't want to keep using the same stuff and boring you guys. So that's why sometimes I use music that I don't own the copyrights for. But I'm gonna stop, man, because they just removed one of the videos that I had already uploaded and had it planned to just drop on people's head like a bag of bricks. But now they've removed the thing, so I'm gonna have to just go ahead and continue. And what I'll do is I'll redo that part that they removed without any copyrighted music behind it. I'll just use my own music. If you lot get bored, it's I'm sorry, but I have to use my own music. Yeah. What I'll do is I'll keep the music down as well and just leave it as a background until we're ready to finish, and then I'll play it on loud volume when it starts or finishes. the live, yeah. So yeah, just rolling up a zoo and getting started. Yeah, it's the 30th today. It's the 5th day of Kwanzaa. Yesterday was Ujama. We have been doing stuff every day and observing Kwanzaa every day. You understand? We took it really serious this year. It wasn't just like, okay, it's Kwanzaa and we're not really serious about what we're doing. Shadow work and stuff, community cohesion, responsibilities, all that stuff. I am really studying it. So yesterday was Ujama. I'm not even looked to see what today is called on there. I'm sure it's Nia and it's to do with purpose. Yeah. So my purpose today is to set the record straight with all the lies that have been told about our ancestors and our Asian cultures. And I believe that if you pay close enough attention, when you look through history, you can actually see the tears of the sun. Like the sun was crying. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because of all the madness that happened on Earth. So when we go through certain societies, civilizations today, I want you to realize something. All that stuff we spoke about, Tartaria, and the Great War of Tartaria and the resets and stuff, try and understand that most of the places you're going to come across today and hear about today was like 3-4 resets ago. So we're talking even way before Tartaria. We're going to see certain architecture and certain buildings that if you pay close enough attention, you'll see it's the same antiquitech, but in the ancient world, it's in a more simpler form. And when I say simpler, I don't mean crude. It doesn't mean it's cheaper or it's shitter. It's actually better, even better than the technology we had in Tartaria. This is when our technology of the consciousness was at its pinnacle in the ancient world. So we're going to go ahead and have a look at some of these some of my favorite places in the world. Let's put it like that. These places I'm about to show you are the number one places on my bucket list of places to visit. I have to visit these places before I leave this chicken farm, because we speak about escaping this chicken farm, but a lot of us ain't even explored this known world and known what's here, the beauties and the wonders of it, because it's not all bad. And it wasn't always a chicken farm where we're being raised like cabbages in chicken coops and stuff. It was actually a beautiful heaven on earth before this demiurge, these Anunnaki archons came here and took it over. So I want to have a look at some of this, the beauty of our known world. We spend a lot of time talking about Illuminati and escaping from the chicken farm and stuff. So this time I want to spend the next few hours talking about some of the beautiful cultures, the beautiful previous ancient civilizations from before records began, going back to Hyperborea, Lemuria, Atlantis, Kemet, all these beautiful civilizations that sprung up and left their mark on the planet Earth in the most beautiful way. Instead of speaking about doom and gloom and Illuminatis and, you know what I'm saying, I want to spend the next couple of hours speaking about the legacy, the beauty and the tears of the sun. Right, guys? I want to shout out the forum, which is now called The Team, my Telegram family. I want to shout out Puds Official and Ak. I want to shout out the people, the team on the Instagram family. I want to shout out Scribe Tribe, Veggie Lover, Chandra, Brooklyn, NYC, all the people that connect with me on a daily. They don't choose me when they want. They choose me every day. These are people I build with or have some kind of interaction with every day, like Empress Lotus. And shout out to my mother and my sister on the screen, Honeybee and Hajar Hakim, Hafo. Yeah, so I want to shout out to the people that make Jedefre. And guys, this book on the screen, Memoirs of a New Wave of Being, that's another one that you need to get. Shout out to my nephew, Zachary, you know, Tears of the Sun, Part 1, Tears of Ra. You understand? Bear with me. Yeah, so today is based on purpose. I'm sure it's Nia today. Yesterday was collective unity, especially when we're dealing with group economics and that, Ujamaa. Yeah, I tried to put a live out yesterday, but YouTube playing. They don't want me to like sound better than other people. They don't want none of us to use music and stuff. There's so many restrictions on this bullshit, man. You know what I'm saying? We spoke about Megan Thee Stallion and all that crap. I'm not going to go over that again. So yeah, community, collective, living by and for each other, cooperation on the most basic level and the most complex level. We're supposed to be able to build businesses with our circles. We're supposed to be proud of each other and celebrate with each other and start practicing this group economics that every other group is practicing, from the Jews to the Indians. They keeping their money in their community. Us as black people, we don't want to even spend money with our own people. We want to spend with everyone else. You get me? Our parents' generation seem to have fared a lot better than we did in terms of relationships and stuff like that. Yeah, they had fuck-ups and love trysts and stuff, but it weren't so widespread like it is now, like it's common culture, how it's become the commonality of most people. Our parents' generation, they got together to stay together. Some of them was in arranged marriages. That us here in the UK, we push up our mouth when we hear about arranged marriages. But arranged marriages are way better than the system that we've got in the West, following Mzungu, just falling in love based on aesthetics, looks and feelings and shit. Love ain't got nothing to do with feelings. Love is a commitment when you're talking in terms of marriage. You understand? It's a commitment that you make, ride or die with this person, yeah, in sickness and health till death do us part. All of that stuff, we lost it in this generation. How quick people want to jump out of relationships and get out as soon as they come to the first hurdle. It's a joke thing out here. Love is a fickle mistress these days, where before it used to be marriage was holy. It was a commitment, it was holy and sacred. As the Muslims say to you, marriage is half of your deen. It's half of your entire, what you're going to be judged for. That's according to them, yeah? But it's true, love is a fickle mistress. And love is rare. But let me tell you something. Real friendship, true love is rare. But true friendship is even rarer, yeah? And people don't understand that in these relationships, whether it's friendships or intimate relationships, teamwork makes the dream work. You understand what I'm saying? Teamwork makes the dream work. There's no substitute for teamwork. And if you work smart, you don't even have to work hard. Yeah? You work smart, you don't have to work hard. Everything will fall into place. Right, let's start off this presentation, yeah? Shout out to Doll Burnett for this beautiful jester that she sent for me on my birthday. Even though it arrived past my birthday, it was the perfect birthday present. I love the coffee mug. I'm having coffee right now, yeah, while I'm doing this live for you. So thanks for my coffee mug. I really love it. I got about 6 of these coffee mugs, but I love the message even more than the actual jester. This alone. Happy birthday. Soz, it's a bit late, but I hope you had a great day. Hope you liked the gift. This is a small token of appreciation to say thank you for all you do to inform the masses. You are loved and appreciated, brother. Blessings. I really appreciate those words there. Those words hit different and they came right on time. So shout out to Doll Burnett. Happy Kwanzaa, guys. Let's get it. Let's get it. Sankofa, go back into your culture and fetch that which is beneficial, that what works for you now. That's what Kwanzaa's about, and that's what Sankofa's about. We're gonna bring back the black love between us, yeah? Between black men and black women, regardless, yeah? I'll die before I fail at that. Right, guys, we're gonna start with Puma Punku, yeah? We're gonna start with Puma Punku, and this is a very significant place, yeah, located in Bolivia near Lake Titicaca. Lake Titicaca in itself is a mystical lake, one of the most mystical and important lakes in the entire globe. We're gonna come to Lake Titicaca and all the cultures that are built up around it, what that region really is, as to whether it's a porthole or not. The ancient city of Tiahuanacu and Puma Punku next door was built almost 13,000 feet. That's 4,000 meters above sea level, making it one of the highest urban centers ever constructed. You know how high up they constructed this? Who were they hiding from? It's like they were trying to get off the grid. This is, as I said, 3 or 4 resets ago. People were living on the edge of mountains. People were living underground. People were living under the sea. Anywhere they could get to hide themselves away and live off the grid. You understand? The same thing happening now is the same thing that happened before. Let's have a look at Puma Punku. And you see these stones? It's like somebody just used some type of technology that we don't have to treat these stones like they were paper. Or they heated these stones instantly, just like heated it up on the spot. And these stones liquefied. So it's like liquid molten stone, and then they can put this liquid, this stone liquid, into shapes and let it solidify. So they can make impressions in this stuff like it's Play-Doh and stuff. The levels of technology that they had back then make us look daft right now. We don't get that. Do you understand? We don't get that. We think we're top of the food chain, and the technology that we have now, all this technology, smart devices, 5G, 4G, 3G, satellites, communication. We think we're the top of the food chain, but we're really not. You understand what I'm saying? Our technology dulls in comparison to what they had in the ancient world. We can't do that with stone now. We can't work stone like how you see on the screen there. What they've did there, that is a mastery of whatever machinery they use. They definitely wasn't using no bronze or copper chisels, and somebody just standing there at one of them stones whacking it with a chisel. That's the most stupidest thing anybody can still believe in. Anyone who still believes in that is seriously retarded. And I mean no disrespect when I say that. I'm being serious. You're retarded if you really think that people drag these stones on ropes and pulleys with loinskin cloths, and they was using a little copper chisel to stand there for 1,000 years or however long it took, yeah, to chip out that wall there. Anyway, Puma Punku, let's go. And this was built by Alalu, who's, after he challenged Anu for the throne on Nibiru and lost and got thrown off Nibiru, evicted, he came to Earth and he set up his own kingdom on Earth. And when he set up his own kingdom on Earth, he made humans too. They don't speak about this enough. You understand? So most of us are not aware of it. You understand? Tiahuanacu Empire, ancient city and imperial state in South America. Capital city of an empire built 13,000 feet above sea level. So this is Tiahuanacu, what you're looking at here. And the next door city is Puma Punku. Both these were built by Alalu. There's no date for when these places were built. Yeah, archaeologists, historians, they can't give you no real date. All the dates they're giving you is bullshit. You understand? Don't trust none of the dates they're giving you. Surrounded in large part by mountains and hills, the city reached its peak between roughly AD 500 and AD 1000, growing to encompass an area of more than 2 square miles, 6 square kilometers, organized in a grid plan. Only a small portion of the city has been excavated. Population estimates vary, but at its peak, Tiahuanacu appears to have had at least 10,000 people, I say more than that, living in it. Although its inhabitants didn't develop a writing system and its ancient name is unknown, archaeological remains indicate that the city's cultural and political influence was felt across the southern Andes, stretching into modern-day Peru, Chile, and Argentina. Yeah, so these guys were big boys on the influential lane, and that's Alalu right there, who I said challenged Anu for his throne, and he's the uncle of Enki by way of Enki's mother Id, who is half reptilian. So this is her half reptilian brother, Alalu, and as I said, he felt like he should be the Most High. Yeah, so he challenged Anu for the throne in a wrestling match. Yeah, and Anu beat him and he got evicted off the Nibiru. And so he had to gamble with life because most people don't make it through the asteroid belt. But they're like, yo, piss off through the asteroid belt, you're evicted. When he went through the asteroid belt, he actually made it. And there's actually a text that he speaks about this stuff, yeah? And he made it through the asteroid belt or the hammered out bracelet, okay? And he reached Earth where he found a goal which was needed in risk, yeah? So he sent word back through his nephew Enki that he's found gold in his newfound kingdom of Earth. So Anu and the Anunnaki, Enki and them, they wanted to come and see for themselves what Alalu was talking about the gold. And when they came here, Enki tried to plead the case for Alalu, like, look what he's done down here, man. We should like forgive him and stuff and let him back into the clan and stuff. Anu and Enlil, they weren't having it. They was like, nah, fuck this nigga. This nigga can't have no kingdom down here. Nigga, we banishing this dude to Mars. Where he was banished to Mars, his wife went and joined him, and he lived as a desolate. Yeah, he lived as a recluse, no one but him and his wife, and he died on Mars. And apparently the face or Sphinx, the face on Mars, is actually the face of Alalu, yeah? Even though I've read in the Holy Tablets it's supposed to be the face of Cadmon, now I hear a lot of people, even a young elder, talking about how it's the face of Alalu, this guy on the screen, who is the brother of Id, yeah? And some say he's the brother of Anu. Sometimes the details are a bit here and there, they're neither here nor there. The main part of the story's there, but then certain details may differ according to who you're listening to. Now, either he's the brother of Enki's mum, or he's the brother of Enki's father, but he's definitely Enki's uncle, and he's the one that's responsible for building Pumapunku, Olente Tambu, yeah, and others such as Saksaya Human and a few others, yeah. And look at that afro. I had to throw that picture in, man. A lot of people say a lot of things about Erica, but hey, man, whether you like her or not, you definitely know who she is, right? And that's what counts. Yeah, so role models, man, mentors. We need to be living by examples and not just words. Yeah, beauty is something that's only skin deep. It's superficial. Yeah, even though it's good, we all like a beautiful woman, or we all the women like a handsome man, a powerful, handsome man. You understand? Beauty is the arousal of the senses, where nothing needs to be changed. You're aroused. Yeah, Mother Nature has wired us that way. That we all like beautiful things, not just people, beautiful sunset, beautiful situations, beautiful music, beautiful food. We like it. It's wired into our genetics. You understand what I'm saying? Because we're so closely connected to Mother Nature, I want the females that are watching this to understand you do not need cosmetics. Us men are not into cosmetics, the real men. We don't like fake tits. We don't like fake asses. We don't like fake lips. We don't like fake eyelashes. We don't like fake hair, weaves, all that smelly shit. We don't like it. We like natural. We like afros. We like wool. We like you when you're comfortable in your own skin that you're buying in her. You understand? That's what we like. So please, black woman, stop listening to this Western society and letting them convince you that you need to tuck your belly or you need to have a boob job or you don't need none of that stuff. Mother Nature gave you that. You born with an abundance of it. You understand what I'm saying? The mind can either be your best friend or your worst enemy. You've got to make the choice. It's either going to be your best friend or your worst enemy. A lot of people, they're not making the choice, so the choice is being made for them, and their mind becomes their worst enemy. They are in their own way. Yeah, we should be practicing community in our parenting too. If we got children and stuff, other people in the community should be able to pull up our children when they're doing wrong, just like they do in the Caribbean. You might get boxed around the head down the road. You go home and tell your mum, she might box you again for getting yourself into a situation where some elder person felt like they had to box you. We need to bring back the respect for the elders, because the respect is gone. Yeah, and action, reaction, cause, effect, or causation, action, reaction, cause, effect. Everything we see going on in the globe now is connected to just simple things like respect for elders and stuff. It's that simple. And we're going to see when we get into some of the Mayan teachings and stuff that they say exactly the same thing. So it's paramount that we get these age-old teachings back into our children, so they realize the importance of them. You understand? It's very important. Right, so we went through Pumapunku. Let's go and have a look at something else. Now we're looking at Olente Tambu, yeah? And it, just like Pumapunku, is variation to do with Alalu and stuff. This is Inca Huatana or Inti Huatana. The Incas built Inti Huatanas in many of their temples. It is a monolithic sculpture that had the function of a solar clock. Wow. That, in the case of Ollantaytambo, was also used as an astronomical observatory. The Inti Huatana of Ollantaytambo is located above the Temple of the Sun on the edge of the precipice. So look at that, where it is. It's like you're basically high up in the mountains in the middle of nowhere, off the grid, away from society and retarded as sheep is humans, away from governments and bloody NHS and all of that. And you're just free. Yeah, just looking at that alone, I just feel free just looking at that. And that's why we got to get out of here and escape from this chicken farm, man. The monumental cover and the 10 Hornacinas enclosure. This platform located in the last place of the upper group of terraces of the real sun house. The real sun house. Is there a fake sun house then? That's what I'm saying. This sun out here fake. Even the ancients knew it. During the conquest, it was demolished and nowadays only the foundations remain. Nustabath. The Incas had a great knowledge of hydraulic engineering waterworks. This is reflected in all its temples. They had the same in the Indus Valley, Harappa and stuff, where water plays a very important role. In Ollantaytambo, the Nustabath is the most important fountain, formed by a single granite stone. Ollantaytambo, visit the ruins before taking the train to Machu Picchu. If we talk about Ollantaytambo, the first thing that comes to our mind is the train station, but this district of Cusco has much more to see. Its cobblestone streets will still preserve Inca walls and roads. In addition, in this place, you will find one of the most important archaeological sites of the Inca Empire, its incredible fortress. And make note that a lot of people say that it weren't even the Incas that built this. Yeah, they walked into this place empty. This was an empty city. They walked into it, you understand what I'm saying, and claimed it as theirs. But when they was asked by these conquistadors, yo, how did you build this and how did you build that? Their leaders have meant to have said to these Muzungu, listen, these were here when we got here. We didn't build anything here. We filled in some broken walls and shit. Check that out for yourself. Don't believe anything I'm saying. All that polygonal masonry and shit. They didn't build it. This is way before our times, a few resets ago. There's a good channel on here on YouTube called Mystery History and Mystery History 2. Go and check it out, because they get into these jewels here just like I do. Do you get me? To give you some more receipts. During the Inca Pachacutic's rule, the empire invaded, conquered and destroyed everything in Ollantaytambo. You see what I'm saying? So certain tribes walk into these places and take them off other tribes and just inherit them when they're abandoned and stuff. So now you got one set of natives coming and attacking the Incas in Ollantaytambo, using the typical Inca architecture. Pachacutic ordered the construction of a new town, yeah, and you can see how the crude construction is way different, smaller stones and all that, kind of like us today. That became one of the most important bastions of the Tahu Antin Suyu. With the construction of the Ollantaytambo fortress, this place became the military, religious, and agricultural center of the Inca Empire when they inherited it. Thus, when the Spaniards arrived, with the Inca Manco Capac, sounds like Tupac, as the highest leader, the struggle for the invasion of the place began. So they fighting over this place. Everyone wants it. Certain Incas are fighting over it, and the Muzungu come, they want it too. These are power spots. During the first years of the conquest, Manco Capac watched all the movements of the Sacred Valley from the fortress. Thus he could learn that the Spaniards were planning the arrival of this place, and the Inca, who knew more about the nooks and crannies of the valley, managed to surprise and stop them. But Manco Capac decided to leave Ollantaytambo and take refuge in the forest of Vilcabamba for greater security. After the departure of the Inca, it was easier for the Spanish to conquer this place, which was in the hands of Hernando Pizarro in the year 1540. And make note that these Incas are black like me and you. Go and have a look at the pictures. I've got one posted on my TZT page, and they look like one of us. Literally. Nowadays, Ollantaytambo has no other function than to receive the visit of people from all over the world. We need to go there, guys, as a group and that. Its great tourist attraction is due to its almost perfect conservation, and because it is one of the few cities in which the Inca urban planning can still be observed. Thus, the fortress has several points to visit. The platforms is the first thing you'll see when you get to Ollantaytambo. Is that the things on the side of the hill? Like, the platforms of this fortress are located here on the slope of the mountain and have a large size that allows to distinguish them from a great distance. The platforms is the first thing you see from great distance. Real Sun House, this sector, made up of 17 superimposed terraces, is surrounded by an impressive wall of 6 large stone blocks. The Temple of the Sun, despite being almost totally destroyed, it remains one of the sectors that most surprises visitors. The monoliths that are still standing give an idea of the magnitude of this part of Ollantaytambo. So, let's have a look. You see what I'm saying on the slope? It's like people are living off the grid. Who's gonna live like that on the edge of a slope? Yeah, you rather risk dropping off that shit or sliding off, yeah, than living in safe parts of the world. Because, like I said, we're dealing with resets where people started going off the grid. Just like now, when we all talking about this Agenda 2030, you hear a lot of people, yo, it's time to go off the grid, you know, because this government this, or this Illuminati that, or the cabal this, and people are looking to go and live away from the system to plug out the matrix. This is what you see in here. This is how severe it got at certain points in our far off ancient history, and that's buried in the sands of time. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And then look how beautiful that is. And the agriculture with the terrace steps and that. You might think, ignorant people will say, oh look, giants built it. They built stairs for themselves. It's not stairs. This is how it's called terrace farming. And they were masters of it. So they could get the maximum yield out of that area on the soil and feed their whole community of how much he falls in. Yeah, because of the efficiency of this method. Catching the water that's trickling down from the mountains and sending it down, and it's just a perfect system, and that looks like heaven compared to where we are in this chicken farm, this virgin. Look at that. Yeah, I'd love to have that area for me, where I could just disappear off the grid and shut the world off. Look at that. We have everything there, shopping, a social center, whatever, and just living there. No one knows we're there. These people were living off the grid. They didn't just go to these spots just because they liked it. Oh, you heard about that high place in the mountains? Let's go up there and build a house, innit? Nah, man, these people were running from something. Now let's go and have a look at Baalbek, yeah? Because Baalbek is very important in the story of the Anunnaki, yeah? Baalbek was known in the Epic of Gilgamesh as the place, or the landing place, the spaceport of the gods. That's where they came to and fro. This is where they descended in their shams, their spacecraft, or vimanas, from the Hindu text. So this place had to be big enough for crafts to be landing and taking off. There's not a lot of places that you could look at and say, okay, well, that sounds like what it's mentioned in the Epic of Gilgamesh. And this is real, guys. This is observable reality. None of the religions are going to school you about. Muslims, Christians, Jews, none of them, because it's before them. And it exposes that their whole thing's a fabrication thing. You understand? But if we go back to the earliest resets, like I've showed you in the Bible, with the Genesis 3:22 and stuff, you understand? We come to places like Baalbek, so let's go. The origin of the name Baalbek is not precisely known, and there is some difference of opinion among scholars. The Phoenician term Baal, as the Hebrew term Adon, simply means Lord or God, and was the title given to the Semitic sky deity worshipped throughout the archaic Middle East. The word Baalbek may mean God of the Bekaa Valley, the local area, or God of the town, depending on different interpretations of the word. Ancient legends assert that Baalbek was the birthplace of Baal, son of Enlil. Some scholars have suggested that Baal, the Assyrian Hadad, Baal Hadad, or Baal Adad, they call him in Syria, Phoenician deity, was only one of a triad of Phoenician deities that were once worshipped at this site. It's talking about the Enlilites, the Yahwehans, who we've been talking about so often. And look at the size of that stone. I'm sure this is the one that they call the mother of all stones, and it's unquarried, like it's left. They was quarrying it, and then something just made them stop. Whether it cracked or something happened, like war or something, they just stopped and left it there. Look at it, how tiny those humans are standing on that stone. That shit there is 1600 tons. An elephant is 2 tons, man. So that shit there is like 800 elephants. Yeah, it's crazy. That's the mother of all stones, located in Lebanon at Baalbek. These are the stones that were used to create that landing pad that we was just speaking about, where the gods were coming and going in their shems, in their craft. UFO, if you like. Approximately 86 kilometers northeast of the city of Beirut in eastern Lebanon stands the temple complex of Baalbek. Situated atop a high point in the fertile Bekaa Valley, the ruins are one of the most extraordinary and enigmatic holy places of ancient times, and that's an understatement. Long before the Romans conquered the site and built their enormous temple of Jupiter on top of this platform, long even before the Phoenicians constructed a temple to the god Baal, there stood at Baalbek the largest stone block construction found in the entire world. Well, you don't know that they're found bigger now, but I'll get you to that. The origin of the name Baalbek is not precisely known. I think we've read that already. Yeah, we have. So have a look at this, yeah. Have a look at Baalbek for yourself, man. There's another one. I think this is 1,200 stones. That one they left there. 1,200 tons, sorry. And that's an aerial view, yeah. You see them stones in the middle, and you see the size, how little that human is compared to them stones. Look at the ones like in the top row, like the middle row. Those are what you call the trilithons, yeah? Those are like, I think one's 1,500 tons, one's 1,200 tons, and one's 13 or 1,400 tons. It's actually crazy. And that's the Roman shit that they built on top of it. And at first they tried to say Baalbek was built by the Romans. It definitely weren't built by the Romans, guys. They just came and put that temple of Jupiter on top with all that Roman iconography and shit. But as you can see on the bottom, that looks old as the pyramids. Yeah, and them stones, there's no bloke, no one that was moving them stones except giants. And unless you got sound levitation technology like we did have, and different other ways. No people today with our way of thinking and our crude technology was lifting them stones, especially not up the Cedar Mountains. It's the cedar forest, which is kind of up in a high rise. It's not a mountain, but it's a high rise. They would have to have lifted these massive stones, the massivest stones in the world, up a fucking high rise. How do you work that out? Go figure. So as you can see, they built Roman stuff on top of it. Tears of the Sun, man. Every time they come into our culture, whether we're there or not there, they end up claiming it as theirs. Do you get me? Yo, so yeah, wait until you find out that you have no idea. Most people have no idea about real history and the stuff that really occurred on this planet. They've been told something that is complete hogwash. Look at Antarctica in 1912. Just to remind us about that fantastic slide that we did. Yeah, groundbreaking. Yeah, Escape from the Chicken Farm. Escape from the Chicken Farm Part 2 and Escape from the Chicken Farm extra clips. If you haven't viewed that content or watched it to the end, please commit to doing that, because it will change your paradigm about this known world and this earth, man, this reality that they've given us, this false stuff. Let's go. right, let's get back into it, guys. Let's go back to where we've last left off, right? So we was at Baalbek, yeah? And we was looking at Baalbek and all of that Roman stuff that they built on the God's landing platform. If you want more clarity, refer to the Epic of Gilgamesh, which is a Sumerian tablet and is the oldest epic in the world. We've spoke about this on numerous live. It's time, if you haven't gone and looked at that content and that the oldest epic in the world for yourself, it's time that you go and look into that for yourself. Yeah, we've gave you all the jewels that you need on this Baalbek, and as you can see here on the map for the Levant, that's what you call where Israel, Palestine, Lebanon, Syria, all of that area is known today as the Levant. Back in the days, it was known as Canaan, and then it was known as Phoenicia. Yeah, now it's known as the Levant. And if we was to continue further to the east, that river that you see running from the top, that's the Tigris Euphrates, or the Idliglat Furatu, yeah? The Tigris Euphrates, a double vein river just like the Nile. So that's the eastern border of the Eden, the land of the rocket ships. And the Nile is the western border. So everything we're looking at here, yeah, between the two is a part of the window of heaven, or Eden. And Eden means land of the rocket ships. That's where these Bible authors got this shit from. Okay? Quickly, let's have a look at this. Dave Chappelle. That's not Dave Chappelle. He don't look nothing like the old Dave Chappelle. You understand what I'm saying? Who the hell is that clone that they got? Actor. You know what I'm saying? Look. They think we're stupid. Yeah? About bigger, faster and stronger. Just like that, in the click of a finger. This guy looks from that to that. It's crazy. I train, so I know how difficult it is to achieve this kind of transition in the time that he was missing from the public and came back. That was like a blink of an eye. He ain't supposed to look like that. That doesn't look like, sound like, feel like the old Chappelle. I don't even find it funny. I can't even watch the dude. So when people send me clips of Chappelle, because they try and make him relevant, because they know people are onto this thing, and he just don't look the same, because like we've said, this cloning technology is flawed. So no clones look exactly the same. They don't, because they don't have the same RNA, the same background. He doesn't have the background experiences that Mother Nature gave the original Dave Chappelle. Wherever you are, whether you're dead or whatever, yeah? The same like Gucci Mane, yeah? Where people are like, oh, that's just conspiracy theory. I've been listening to Brick Squad Gucci Man, yeah, since my bad days trapping in the streets. This was my team. When it comes to music, y'all heard the type of music I listen to. I still bump certain music now. You understand what I'm saying? Not because you reform, you have to go church and listen gospel. I still bang my music, but it doesn't have the same effects on me. I don't go out and sell drugs to my own people or live in the way they do. I listen to it now only for the artistic content, but I'm watching, and this guy ain't the same guy. You can go and study this for yourself, but you need to do it with an open mind and get away from all the ridiculing and debunking and people making fun and the word conspiracy and all that. That's all bullshit. That's neither here nor there. That is not Gucci Man. Strictly. That is bullshit. You understand what I'm saying? Straight bullshit. Yeah. So let's go to the Bimini Islands. The Bimini Islands, yeah, is in the Caribbean, yeah? And the Bimini Islands was the first stop when you come out of Atlantis. So these people in the Caribbean were the children of the Atlanteans, yeah? And a lot of the turmoil that happened in America, a lot of the tribes escaped to certain islands, like in the case of certain tribes like Aztecs and stuff, ended up going to Jamaica, yeah? So right around near the Bermuda Triangle and stuff, the Bimini Islands, they're some of the oldest souls in this realm. Ancient ones returning when you're speaking about Haitians and Jamaicans and Santo Domingo and Cuba and certain places, yeah? These are Asians. Not all of them were brought from Africa. My family's got Taino ancestry in it, as well as African. You understand? And the Tainos were the indigenous people, the children of Atlanteans, the children of Olmecs that lived in Jamaica, that live in Cuba, that live in Haiti, Santo Domingo. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, and they had a processional road where you could walk from the Bimini Islands to Atlantis, because they used to trade with their parents. We used to go to the mainland and trade and stuff. So underwater, along with that blue pyramid that they found, made out of crystal, yeah, that goes back to these times we're talking about. They also found a processional pathway where you could walk Ross there, you know? Yeah. And this just looks creepy, guys. When I seen this, I thought, yo, what shit? That statue doesn't smile like that. Someone's taking the piss. But the more I looked at it, I was like, yo, that's some creepy shit, you know? Like some demon shit, like the statue. Imagine if you was looking at it in a museum and then it just started smiling like that. You'd shit yourself. You'd be like, what the hell is going on here? Some demon thing, you get me? But yeah, they thought they were running joke on us, these people, telling it. Oh my, sorry. Telling us that this is how Egyptians looked and stuff. They didn't look nothing like this. Bullshit. You understand? But there was running joke lately. Like I said, they know we're onto them about all this stuff, yeah? So they was like, yo, we need to reinvent Nefertiti again just to tell the world she was a white woman. Guys, do you lot really want to see what they did? Listen, let me go to black. Do you really want to see what they did and telling us this is Nefertiti? Let me show you, yeah? Neanderthal, yeah? Okay, now. Anyway, let's go, yeah? So let's go and have a look at Göbekli Tepe, yeah? Göbekli Tepe is one of the most important sites recently because they're trying to say that it's older than the pyramids. You understand what I'm saying? They're saying, yo, Göbekli Tepe is older than the pyramids. You understand? It goes back to 10,500 BC. It's the oldest place I've ever found. Humans were supposed to be hunter-gatherers. We're not supposed to be at this stage at this point. You understand what I'm saying? That's what they say about Göbekli Tepe. Yeah, but the thing about Göbekli Tepe is they found it buried underneath the earth. Like the people there ended up burying this place for whatever reason. Yeah, and they say and they say it was buried deliberately. It's not like a mud flood thing where some mud just came and buried everything. No, these people wanted to bury this place. Whether they wanted to bury it to hide it from people because they didn't like the shit. They thought, yo, what's this pagan thing? Cover over the thing. You get me? But why would they do that? You're not gonna cover up the thing, all the work that takes. You just smash it down. So we'll scratch that out. They covered it because they wanted to preserve it. They wanted us to find this shit. Now look on the left, all them Anunnaki depictions where you see them with the bird heads and the wings, and you see some humanoid ones. They've always got that bag, walking with that bag. We'll find out by the end of this series what that bag is. Do you understand? But look, they depicted it right here as well. Ingabekli Tepe. And that's how they found it, buried. Look, before they dug it up when it started showing. And they ain't even explored most of it. They've explored something like less than 5%. They don't want us to know about this shit. And they don't want no one there neither. It seems like it was some kind of spiritual place. It weren't somewhere where people lived. At least not these parts that they're showing us here. Fascinating stuff, right? Let's get some 432 hertz vibration in you. Yeah, guys, we're going into 2023. Attack of the robots, attack of the AI clones, Terminators, Robocops, Robo-Dogs. All the jobs are gone. You know what I'm saying? Black people is still suffering from Stockholm Syndrome and celebrity worship and worshipping the visual instead of the content inside of people. Humans are all fucked up right now. They don't want to admit it. You know what I'm saying? Don't nobody want to do the shadow work, do what it takes, or it's going to be needed. You know what I'm saying? The acts of Pharaoh Amos, Suten Amos, Hyksos killers. Amen. Amun Ra. Queen Dee. Beautiful, man. Wow. Recognize yourself in your ancestors' stone and golden images. This is truth and confirmation. You are greater and was created first. From your original seed produced the others. You are the black print of life. It began with you and will end with you. Stop being fooled by your creations. They hate you for being greater. Awaken to the truth in stone and gold and DNA. Queen T.E. Right, let's go to Chichen Itza, yeah, and see what Chichen Itza is saying, guys. Yeah, Chichen Itza is one of my favorite sites. It's a site that was started by the Olmecs and then taken over by Mayans and then later Toltecs. So let's go and have a look at this slide and see what I'll go on in the next couple seconds. Bakalum, pa ashutat shil asaru, nuktao fugmin antuten ya enosat, anuki tem li pata, anuki anuki pa li ul, nuk halag tu pa li ulat, nuk gabal tu pa li ulat ama bikun, anuki pa mahui shil necheru, pa re shil necheru, pa mustarasil shil necheru, anuki fi pana wo shil re kaluni, Dakulni, anuki hayuzina zuf. Amun. Chichen Itza, beautiful, man. It's much more than just Castillo, the one temple of Kulkulkan. For those of you who watched Wakanda Forever, yeah, this is their shit. Well, our shit, because they didn't even look like that. They looked like us. Now let's go to one of my other favorite places. Across the pond, we're going to Angkor Wat. Beautiful. This place is the jewel of Cambodia and was actually some of the Mayans who escaped in boats and went east and built up what we're looking at on the screen as Angkor Wats. And that's why the architecture is so similar to Mayan architecture. And this started out black too. And you can get all these jewels if you invest in a copy of Treasures in the Sand by Jedefre Memnon, Kashta Kush Ramisu, 360 Degrees, TZT Publishing Group, TZT Book Mafia, Scribe Tribe Worldwide. Now look at some of these structures, how old it is. Like I said, we're talking 3-4 resets ago when it was first created. You understand that trees is growing over the thing. I'm talking about the roots of the trees is claiming back the thing. Mother Nature done claim that back and preserve it for us now to have a look at. Look. Come on. Jules, Mr. Harrods. Beautiful place. And like, look, that looks just like the pineal gland. Yeah? It looks like the pineal gland. I'm sure I had a picture of the pineal gland here. Yeah? Boom. Yeah? We in sync with the universe right now. Let me pause that so you can take that in. See that? See that? And look at the building of Angkor Wat. And the Antiquitech technology is built off of a pineal gland. And if you check on the architecture, when you look at it again, you'll see that they have the pineal gland. And it's open. How about that? Buy black, support black business, investments, invest in black, increase the standard of living of the black people around you, be nice to even black people when you see them in the streets and you don't even know them. Greet people with a smile before you greet them with anything. If you can't smile, you've got a lot of shadow work to do in yourself, because smiling is contagious and we need more of it in the world. If you're pretty, if you're handsome, smile loads, smile at people. That might make the difference in their day. Collective cohesion, collective unity is a mental thing. It's the way we think about ourselves. The real revolution is the revolution of consciousness. Okay, we're now at Kom Ombo Temple, yeah? I just wanted to show you this real quick before we go to Cholula, one of my favorite places that I only recently discovered, and that was only recently discovered anyway, but by most of us here in our way of thinking, because like I said, a lot of us like to stay here in the Happy Valley and stick in Kemet. Yeah, we might go to Kush, but Kush and Kemet, a lot of us just get obsessed here, and I understand, man. It's a magical place, but there's loads of magical places on earth outside of the Nile Valley too. or the Happy Valley. Yeah, America's just as magical. Yeah, in the Indus Valley is just as magical. Fuck it, even the UK is just as well. Half or something. Let's go to Cholula, yeah? Let me get to the start of this slide. Okay. History of Cholula. Like many of Mexico's great pre-Columbian cities, the original builders of Cholula are shrouded in mystery. Everyone agrees that it has one of the best locations in Mexico due to very fertile soil, the reliability of the water supply, and positioning between the coast at Veracruz, which is the Olmec site, and the high central plateau where Mexico City is located, Aztecs. In other words, it was a natural place to build a settlement once the indigenous people transitioned from hunter-gatherers to agriculturalists. We weren't hunter-gatherers. Yeah, hunter-gatherers was the Asiatics and the non-Menelites. Some think that may have happened as long ago as 500 BC. That's when these Muzungu started turning into stop being hunter-gatherers when they seen us being civilized. Yeah, which if true would make it the oldest continuously occupied city in the world. Well, I would argue, the Fayum in Kemet. Yeah, it's either here or there. For certain, there was a major settlement here by 200 BC, and work on the Great Pyramid may have started as early as that. The problem with interpreting the building of the Great Pyramid from the archaeological remains is that it was built in 10 identifiable stages, 4 of which were major, unlike Egyptian pyramids that were built by one individual to serve as tombs. This is where they go stupid, where they like to compare and stuff. We can't compare Kemet to the Indus Valley, or the Indus Valley to America, or Mexico to England. Nah, the world don't work like that. That's like you comparing your finger to your toe, or your toe to your elbow, or your elbow to your nipple. Like, they're all there for a reason. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah, but let's go on anyway. So they're saying, unlike Egyptian pyramids, that were built by one individual, which I would argue with. Like, let's state for certain pyramids were unfinished, and then the sons had to take over from where the father's saying, based on their theory, because they didn't even build them pyramids, most of them, the Great Pyramid and stuff. You understand? And there are structures in Kemet which were built in successive stages, which we'll come to anyway. So anyway, let me go on. Mesoamerican pyramids could be built over a period of hundreds of years. We already saw earlier on this tour during a visit to the Templo Mayor, well, we didn't, that instead of starting from scratch, the builders would simply cover over the old pyramid with a new enlarged shell, which is true. This happened 4 times, other accounts say 6, yeah, at the Great Pyramid, which by, hold on, we're getting to it. Great Pyramid, which by the year 1000 had a base that was 450 meters, 1476 feet, massive, times 450 meters, and was 66 meters, 216 feet high. So it's not as high as the Great Pyramid in Kemet, but in size, in terms of volume, the base of it is massive. It's bigger than the Great Pyramid. That made for a total base. Watch how this pyramid looks. It's going to surprise you guys. That made for a total base that is 3 times as large as the Great Bastard. 3 times as large as the Great Pyramid of Giza, with a considerably larger volume as well. At the top once stood a temple with a set of stairs leading up to it. And I'm telling you, the Anunnaki, when they came to this temple, whoever Anunnaki's temple this was, they would have landed in their craft and came to the top of that temple. I'm telling you. Yeah. Then around 1200, a strange thing happened. Cholula was invaded and occupied by an alliance of the Toltecs and the Chichimecs. Yeah. This was about the same time that the Toltec capital of Tula was destroyed, and this was happening because tribes started fighting each other, like with the Aztecs and stuff. And then the Aztecs would come and take your yard or take your land. You're gonna go somewhere else and bully someone else, and it was a whole madness. And then when the Muzungu comes now, the conquistador, that's like the icing on the cake. Do you understand? Apocalypto's a good movie to watch to get into this stuff. You probably watched it already anyway. It's such a good movie. Watch it again with this new lens. This was about the same time that the Toltec capital of Tula, was destroyed. However, instead of sacking the city, the invaders stayed put. But they weren't so big on pyramids. They actually started to cover it up and eventually succeeded in completely burying it to the point that it was now called whatever. Sorry, now called, yeah, which is Nahatawal for man-made mountain. Cortez arrived in 1519 on his way to the Aztec capital of Tenochtitlan, yeah, which is, and remember there's a Tenochtitlan, a Tiahuanacu, and a Tiahuanacu, Tenochtitlan, and Tiahuanaco. Yeah, Tiahuanacu, Tenochtitlan. You're gonna see, man. We're gonna come to some others. Yo, I don't know how their language is different, man. They must have a different tongue. I'm telling you. So this is Cholula here, yeah? Look how beautiful that is. This is 3 times the size of the pyramids. And this is the inception of pyramids, because it's pyramids inside the pyramids on the next level. Watch, yeah, I'm about to show you. It's crazy. Such a beautiful pyramid. So where is that massive thing, the Cholula pyramid? How come I haven't seen it? From a distance, it looks like, hold on. From a distance, it looks like a mountain to the casual observer. It isn't obvious that it is hiding a secret. It would be hard to assume there was anything of significance built underneath. The city had been abandoned for hundreds of years when the Spanish arrived. The Great Pyramid of Cholula, known as was an important religious site that had been built up in stages over thousands of years. Construction of the pyramid dates back as far as the 3rd century BC. I'll put a 0 on that and say the 30th century BC, yeah, because they always take a 0 off, yeah. So we're talking 3000 BC here. While the town of, according to Jedefre, okay, Jedefre, can I carry on now? Yes, you can carry on now, Sanchez. Okay, thanks. While the town of Cholula was quite lovely, the main reason we were visiting was to explore the pyramid and surrounding city complex. What makes the pyramids of Cholula so amazing? This is one of the most impressive archaeological zones in Mexico. Do you know how big a statement that is, knowing how many sites Mexico has? As there is a massive pyramid built here. One of the most exciting reasons to visit the pyramid of Cholula, it's supposed to say, is because you can actually go inside and travel through a narrow passage, traveling through the center. We started traveling through the center. You can't do that in no Egyptian pyramid. Traveling through it. You might can be travel into it and then go back out, but you travel through it. You understand? This is crazy. Through a narrow passage, traveling through the center. We started our adventure by walking the staircase to the top of the hill. This is where the sanctuary they built a church on there, you know, of the Virgin of Remedies, a church that was built by the Spanish in 1594. This has been a major pilgrimage site since its completion in the 16th century. That's crazy. They built a church on there. Yeah? This morning on our continuing tour of central Mexico, the Adventures Aboard guide extraordinaire Victor Romagnoli, we visited the amazing murals of Cacaxtla. This afternoon we are moving on to the nearby city of San Pedro Cholula, where we will visit another astounding pre-Columbian site, so before the Olmecs, the Great Pyramid of Cholula, which is the largest in the world by volume. Join us as I explore the pyramid and explain why hardly anybody's even heard of it. Oh, and by the way, this is not where one of my favorite hot sauces is made. Cholula hot sauce with the distinct wooden cap actually comes from Jalisco State, on the Pacific coast west of here. Cholula lies only a short distance outside the city of Puebla, which has totally eclipsed the former in both size and economic importance. So Puebla grew massiver than Cholula, yeah, the city. Yeah, modern day Cholula is actually divided into 2 municipalities, San Pedro Cholula, in which Alison is sitting, and San Andres, which starts right behind this sign and is where the Great Pyramid is located. Today, the city has just under 200,000 residents. Big though. It wasn't always this way. Long before Puebla was even a thought in anyone's mind, Cholula was already over 1,000 years old and may have had a population as large as 100,000 at some point in its long history. It was still a going concern when Cortes arrived in 1519. 1519, 100 years before 1619, when the first African slaves were taken to Virginia. Here's what you need to know before visiting Cholula. And look at that, guys. The icing on the cake, yeah? That is one of the most beautiful and sophisticated things I've ever seen in terms of a pyramid. That's a pyramid inside a pyramid, underneath a pyramid, on top a pyramid, inside a complex. Yo, that's like Saqqara. That makes Saqqara look, yo, oi. So as you can see, ancestors on both sides of the Atlantic was building on the same science. We was a super civilization. We don't just do normal civilizations, bruh. We do super civilizations. You understand me? It's a mad thing. Beautiful. Put that in your notepad. Yeah, one of my places where I want to go, the Black Indiana Jones, nigga, I want to see it. Yeah, even what's left of it. I want to touch stones. I want to make affirmations there. I want to meet people. I want to eat the food. I want to drink the water. Because I am Jedefre Memnon. History of Cholula. We've already read that. So, one more quick look at this bad boy. These spiritual badasses. Yeah. And we move on to Hawara. Remember I spoke to you guys about Hawara and Pharaoh Amenemhet and how he came in the, I'm sure it was the 12th dynasty, the Middle Kingdom, and he built this labyrinth that Herodotus spoke about, and how the labyrinth was supposed to be more astounding than the Great Pyramid itself. It was a madness. A labyrinth with a pyramid, and the labyrinth is where you have to find the center of it by finding yourself. Makes me think of David Bowie in that film Labyrinth, yeah? And it had a part on top and a part underneath ground, like most of our stuff does. Look at the church, how they built it on top. It looked like a mosque and that did. Look, what the hell? That looked like some Jerusalem mosque or some shit like that, and it looked like it got Antiquitech on top of there. These are machines, guys. If we go back to the start, these were built by Anunnakis as part of the machinery of circuit board Earth. So when you're looking at these temples, don't just look at them as temples. They're part of the circuit board Earth that Michelle Gibson talks about, along with the canals, along with all the roads, all of that shit. It's like you're looking at a computer motherboard, and all of these ancient sacred sites that align across the realm, yeah, was supposed to bring the free energy and a certain kind of ambient background of 432 degrees in the sacred Om principle. Right, let's go to Hawara now with Pharaoh Amenemhet and have a look. Wow. See that? Beautiful, right? That's the labyrinth that Herodotus was talking about. Wow. And that's what they found nowadays. And the evidence, the receipts. Bastard, this thing really existed, what Herodotus is speaking about in his histories. What scholars doubted for how much he was saying about this place that just blew his mind. Pharaoh Amenemhet. And remember, the first Amenemhet was the one who they get this Abraham stuff from. He wrote the Psalms of Amenemhet, which Akhenaten used in his own teachings of the Aten. And then Akhenaten put one of these Psalms of Amenemhet, yeah, on his Temple of the Sun, which is and it was a prayer or an affirmation to the Aten, yeah, or Amun-Ra, yeah, and that comes from the Psalms of Amenemhet, this same family here. I'm sure it was Amenemhet the first. This one who built the labyrinth is Amenemhet the third, yeah, the third one. But the first one wrote the Psalms. He was like an Abraham figure. So the Psalms that we think came from some mythical King David actually came from these guys. And look how sophisticated these guys are. I didn't speak about these guys in Treasures in the Sand deliberately, because I wanted to speak about them separately in today's tomorrow's yesterday. So I have a whole thing on the 11th and 12th dynasty going into all of this super science here in the book 6, which is soon to come out. Yeah, but let's dance. Let's continue. Mysterious labyrinth in ancient Egypt. It was built it's not only the pyramids and temples with giant statues and columns, but there's more mysterious objects. For example, in the Fayum under Pharaoh Amenemhet III was built a labyrinth whose function is still disputed by historians, and that's what I'm saying. They were saying Cholula is the oldest city continuously inhabited, yeah, and still inhabited. But I would say the Fayum also, you understand what I'm saying? But anyway, Herodotus, who visited Filmsky Oasis and visited the church labyrinth, raved about it, considering it the most outstanding construction built in all of Egypt. In the late 19th century, the British archaeologist William Flinders Petrie was able to partially confirm the words of Herodotus, finding the ruins of the labyrinth, the area of which was equal to 70,000 square meters. In the same period was found the tomb of Pharaoh Amenemhet III. The person who wrote this is saying, I still don't quite understand the meaning of the structures of this maze, which is not uniquely discovered in ancient Egypt. Their English is bad. According to archaeologists, it was a grand square building, whatever that means, consisting of 2 levels, underground and overground. Just like Herodotus said, his mind was blown. He said, listen, they got temples underneath in the underground bit. They got all these tunnels that go to different like worlds and stuff, man. It opens out. It's like, yo, you need to study this stuff for yourself. I'm only giving you, sharing notes with you here from my treasures in the sand, which you need to invest in if you ain't got it. Because none of the old school teachers was connecting it like this, because it wasn't their time for that. It's our time to add on to their teachings. We're standing on the shoulders of greatness when we're bringing you this stuff here. Whether we're speaking about Tartaria, whether we're speaking about the UK and the British royal family, whether we're dipping into the Nile Valley and the Pharaohs, whether we're speaking about Hebrew Israelites and Israel, whether we're talking about the Indus Valley, you understand? Whether we're talking about Mexico and Olmecs, we came here to do this job here. There ain't nobody like me, equipped by Mother Nature like me in this generation, to give you this and bust your head open so you can throw that Christianity, that Islam and that Judaism in the bin. End of run. So this was dedicated, the entrance to the underground part was, hold on, where was I? According to archaeologists, it was a grand square building consisting of 2 levels, underground and overground. On each level there was about 1,500 rooms. There was about 3,000 rooms, mate, which were connected by an intricate system of tunnels. The entrance to the underground part was closed to Muzungu and everyone else, and the area of the temple was dedicated to the god Osiris, which is the lord of the perfect black man. You understand? You're only going to get this from treasures in the sand. The lord or the god of the perfect black man, Asaru, Osiris. The maze was built during the reign of the 12th dynasty Sultan Amenemhet III in the territory film score Oasis. The territory of the Fayum Oasis has been inhabited since ancient times, Cholula, and the city of Fayum, located today on the territory of the Oasis, is the oldest of all existing cities of Egypt. Check that out for yourself. During the reign of Pharaoh Sultan Amenemhet III in the 19th century BC, the oasis there was a grandiose construction. In the Filmscom Oasis was built extensive irrigation network channels and gateways, allowing to successfully conduct agriculture using floodwaters of the Happy. On the exposed lowlands, the city was founded Shedit. Yeah, the city of Shedit was founded on the lowlands, which in Greek sources is mentioned as Crocodilopolis, which means the city of crocodiles. Yeah, here was located the great temple built in the form of a labyrinth in honor of the god Sobek, which was who was depicted with the head of a crocodile, as you should know. Herodotus, who visited we spoke about that before, I'm repeating myself. And there's the god himself. Look at the power in that. Take a minute. 12th dynasty, Middle Kingdom, Amenemhet III. Its existence is not in doubt, as it is mentioned in the writings of ancient historians Strabo and Herodotus. So there's no doubt about this labyrinth, this enigmatic, exquisite, unmatched type of technology. You understand that we've seen, yeah? Yo, and we've seen it around the world. Look what we just looked at Cholula. And like I said, we can't compare one with the other. Egypt's not better than Cholula. Cholula's not better than Egypt. Yeah, Stonehenge ain't better than fucking Nabta Player. Nabta Player ain't better than the Temple of Palenque. You see what I'm saying? A huge temple was a system of intricate tunnels and rooms, of which there were many, brackets, different sources give figures of 1,500 and 3,000 rooms, yeah? Like I said, it's 3,000 plus rooms in that structure. In this maze of Egyptian priests, they kept the crocodile, yeah? Which was believed to be the incarnation of the god Sobek on the ground. So on them grounds, they had crocodile pets and stuff that would nyam you up if you messed around. This is how, we was one with nature. But it was believed that the main purpose of the maze or labyrinth is the funerary temple of the Pharaoh himself, which I would argue with. I would say the main reason is what I've told you. It was a place where you come to step into becoming a god. The same thing with Cholula. You understand? The same thing with the Giza complex. Different ways where you could come and be initiated and step into your higher self, your God self. Here at Huara, yeah, the labyrinth, you would have to find the center of yourself by finding the center of the labyrinth. And you could get lost in there. 70,000 square kilometers. Come on. You could get lost. You could be lost for months, years. It's a madness, People don't understand how deep we were and are as a people. Globally. So it wasn't a funerary temple. Look at it, man. That's crazy, that is. Its existence is not in doubt, as it is meant. You've read that, yeah? So let's go and have a look at Karnak. So after a quick interlude, when the music stops, we'll be at Karnak Temple in Kemet, the Nile Valley. Yeah? Deal? The mythological story of the creation of man, recorded in the book of Genesis, was stolen from the original Egyptian Kemetic story of the creator Neta Khnum, who formed man and his spirit on his potter's wheel. This story dating back to pre-dynastic Kemet, Egypt, well over 5,000 BC, as you see. This ancient Egyptian myth goes back many thousands of years before there was ever a Bible, biblical Hebrews, or any other creation story. All creation stories come from the ancient African Nile Valley, Happy Valley region. This relief is carved in stone and can be found in the temple of Hatshepsut in Luxor, Kemet. The Black Code. We do not steal from one another. We do not kill one another. We do not sell or offer drugs to one another. We do combine our dollars and buy collectively as a group. We protect our own women and children first. We educate our own as every chance. We do not fight one another. Brothers protect and build up one another. Sisters protect and build up one another. Brothers protect and build up sisters. Sisters protect and build up brothers. We look for every opportunity to start our own business, servicing the need of our people first. The Black Code. Right, we at Karnak Temple, guys. Yeah? Karnak Temple is one of the most intriguing temple complexes. It is still the biggest temple complex in the world in terms of how big this complex is. It's not one building, it's a complex of buildings. And just like they said in Cholula about how Cholula was built over thousands of years, the same can be said for Karnak, what we're about to look at. So my point was, if the pharaohs wanted to build their pyramids over successive stages, they could have done, because they used that technology to construct Karnak. Yeah, there isn't much to be seen when you're looking at it from here, but once again, think in terms of a computer motherboard and the computer chips, yeah, and USB chips and all of that type stuff. What you're looking at is a computer chip, a motherboard. All of the ancient sites, they're bigger parts of this circuit board earth, this motherboard, from Karnak to Kom-Umbo to Cholula to Chichen Itza, Machu Picchu, Ollantay Tambu, Pumapunku, all of these places. Do you see what I'm saying? And they don't tell us this stuff. Yeah, they took the grid off. Look at the size of the pylons in Karnak Temple, built by Memnon, my namesake, Amenhotep III. This is what he added to Karnak, because each pharaoh, they added their own, a bit of their own personality to this beautiful and exquisite temple complex. There's no pylons on earth like that. If there is, they're not as beautiful as that, with all the carvings on them and that. Imagine when that was finished, and this is in stone, like someone was working with paper, like how we paint on paper and stuff. These niggas was carving into stone. This is ancient Tartarian technology. Like if you looked into a computer with a magnifying glass, you would see pylons like this, whether they were processors or whatever. Yeah, conductors. Yeah, what's the other one called? Conductors. There's cathodes. There's another one. What the Dr. York used the term before. Anyway, it's not coming to me right now. You know what I'm talking about. Look how small that human is. I don't even think they're depicted the right size in this depiction here. I think they're smaller just so you could fit more in. These things are massive. Go and study them for yourself. You understand what I'm saying? It's crazy. Yeah, so everyone added their own touches, whether it was like chapels, what they call chapels, temples, colonnades, you understand, all kind of stuff. Karnak Temple, yeah. Let's have a deeper look. And look, as I said, each pharaoh, they added their own thing. Each sultan or each pharaoh, each great house, the husband and wife added their own touches to Karnak Temple. It was started in the 12th dynasty with Amenemhet and them. It was the holy place of Amun, who is a Kushite god from the Sudan. He wasn't even an Egyptian god. So to this point, they're not really calling on no Amun. You don't hear about Amun till the 12th dynasty till these men come in and make this new capital, because Egypt had fell apart. And you got all these pretenders running around the place talking about their rulers of the north and their rulers of this and their rulers of that. So in the north you had these fake Libyans, or what you call Berbers and stuff, and people from the Levant, mixed people, mulattoes, talking about their kings and shit. So when we came as Mentuhotep the second, yeah, we're talking about 2055 BC. Some say 2040 BC. Yeah, This is, yo, so look, this is what the Ramesses the Third from way later. Ramesses the Third's all up in the 21st dynasty and shit. The last great pharaoh of Kemet. But look, he added what's called Medinet Habu, his temple of a million years. In ancient times, Medinet Habu was known as Janet, and according to ancient belief was the place where Amun first appeared when he came from the south, from Sudan. Both Hatshepsut and Tutmosis III built a temple dedicated to Amun here, and later Ramesses III constructed his larger memorial on this site, yeah? That's just an example. Loads of pharaohs added to it. Memnon, my namesake, he added the colonnade, the avenue of sphinxes, ram-headed sphinxes that connect Luxor with Thebes, because Waset, where this is both Luxor and on the West Bank, and Thebes, what we call in Thebes, the city of 100 gates. I hope you guys are having fun, man. I hope this learning is making learning fun again and making you want to learn more, you get me? So yeah, the deeper they dig, the blacker the gods get, the blacker history gets. They thought they could bury us. They didn't know we were seeds, right? So here you see the real founding fathers of America, which was Amaruka, which was Atlantis, which was even before Kemet, based on what we've seen about Pumapunku and Ollantaytambo. These places predate human occupation in Kemet, yeah, in Kush even. This is from the previous old world. Few resets ago, Hyperborea, Lemuria, Atlantis. You understand? Then, since the last reset now, yeah, Dr. York says we're in the fourth, yeah, major one, yeah, not considering Tartaria. Tartaria would have been the fifth, but there was four up to a certain point, major resets, yeah. And so look, these things were buried, whether deliberately or by the mud floods or whatever, they were buried. Whether they're giants or they was just the leaders depict themselves this way, it's really intriguing, man. It's crazy. And look, for those that said, oh, it's just Mexicans with big noses and stuff, there's Mexicans that look like that. Now, there's no Mexicans that look like this guy. They push this one, and they don't want this in the museum because this looked like one of my mates. Forgotten or unknown Olmec, yeah? Tres Zapotes, which is another Olmec site. Veracruz, Tres Zapotes, La Venta, and others like what they're going to say here, is located on the slopes of the Tuxtla Mountains, you see, in the state of Veracruz. It is one of the most important Olmec sites and the first to be written about. Olmec, oh, can't see that, dated to about 1600 BC, so let's say 16,000 BC. Thank you very much, Muzungu. So these are Olmec sites, yeah, that we're looking at here. Beautiful. I think this is the Temple of the Jaguar. And look at this. I ain't never seen no step pyramid like that. That exquisite. That is crazy. That is so beautiful. And it's just, you can tell that's black people. Like, that's gangster. I ain't never seen no pyramid looking like that, man. With all them windows, or what if they're windows. Like I said, it's part of machinery of the circuit board Earth. So sometimes we're just programmed to think that it's some type of temple where they worship or sacrifice to some god, but it's so much more than that. And sometimes we're not looking to see what it really is, what it really means. You know what I'm saying? Mad thing, right? Yeah. The Toltecs were wise. Their works were all good, all perfect, all wonderful, all marvelous. They invented the art of medicine, and these Toltec were very wise. They were thinkers, for they originated the year count. These Toltec were righteous. They were not deceivers. Their words were clear words. They were tall. They were larger than the people today. They were very devout. They were rich. Sahagun, 1950, 19 to 1982, book 10, page 165 to 170. Yeah, guys, so join me for part 2. This is what I meant to give you in the original upload, but I was so tired and depriving myself of sleep. I didn't do myself no favors. I mashed up myself, and so I uploaded part 2 before uploading part 1 because I had split it in 2. But what I'm going to do is stop it here and we'll watch this together, and then what we'll do is the third section which should conclude the whole thing. If not, then we'll do another one because I really enjoy doing it. But let's finish on this note here. We'll read a couple of these slides, and y'all can join me for the part 3. Indigenous shamanism. A shamanism man capable of going from one area to another, physical and spiritual. But to achieve this requires the separation of spirit from your physical body, the container of the spirit. The separation of spirit and body is given in different ways and by various circumstances of life. These detachments of the body can be both voluntary and involuntary, including voluntary brackets, and to which every human being is susceptible and considered normal, close brackets, is the dream. Volunteer detachments are exceptional and can only be made by those who have been elected by the sacred beings, and after initiation of management preparation of divine forces. These initiates can handle powers, superhuman, quote unquote superhuman, under a state of trance. These specialized in external things of the spirit called Nagual, as the Nahua. That was the original word for shaman, Nagual or Nahua, creator. Also used by the term Nagual has suffered over time. Various distortions which were begun by the friars in the colonial times, taking different paths to the primary meaning or the original of the term. Therefore, now adopted the term shaman. Shaman, Hispanicized Siberian word that is now known universally. Data taken from the magazine published by the UNAM in 1998. The trance required for spiritual practice is the result of ascetic, as examples fasting, abstinence, self-sacrifice, the ingestion of psychoactive substances and so on, psychedelics. Entering a trance, the shaman is clear from the waking state, which keeps the body and is able to see what things to watch cannot. So they come out of their body and leave their physical vessel and stuff. In turn, has the power to transform into animals or natural phenomena such as lightning, or managing events such as granicios, that might be storms. Able to handle this event. Shamans are disease, they can cure or give disease, yeah, and have powers to be both doctors or destroyers in divination and stuff, yeah. The English is a bit bad, forgive me. And they drink a potion, the specialist in the treatment of diseases of spirit, which the divine consultation uses for hallucinogens. Pani was consulted only in extreme cases, when other methods of healing had failed. It should be noted here that belief away from popular today about the shamans using hallucinogens as drug consumption is false. So they didn't use these psychedelics just to go on trips and stuff. Hallucinogens as peyote or Tionanactal, meat of the divine, were used sacred and all responded to a religious ritual as a specific use, and also for therapeutic purposes or divination, spiritual matters or healing. There was also the Tisitl, which makes medicine, which is a healer specializing in medicinal herbs. So you got Nagual and you got Tisitl, yeah? And the Tisitl is a healer specializing in medicinal herbs, potions, etc., incisions, How do you know you're a shaman, or what's a shaman? It is important to understand that a shaman was not just anyone who knew of medicinal herbs or psychedelic substances in general. A shaman was the result of a long religious learning and a process of initiation where the future shaman died and descended into the underworld where he was granted his... Oh, I can't read that. The diagnosis was given by a divination ritual where various elements could be used individually or together. Have, for example, the information through the corn, the divination by water, the ritual calendar, interpretation of dreams, omens and signs of nature, ropes and knots, like people casting spells, tying you with ropes and casting knots on you and that. And finally, and only in cases required by their complexity. So they were only used in the most extreme circumstances where nothing else was working. They would turn to this, the nahual, with the psychedelics and stuff. Eating mushrooms, tola'aki, etc. might be used. And that looks like one of the Mayan codexes that survived. But I'm going to finish now, guys. I'm done. You guys join me for part 2, yeah, at 9 p.m. GMT time, December the 30th. 9 p.m. GMT time. Join me, guys. You understand? Join me.